Hello, it's Steve with CarSmart in Niagara Falls, and we have a 2016 Toyota RAV4 LE with the upgrade package for you today. Nice clean car. It really is a nice condition. The black often can show the wear and tear, but you can tell this one's been really looked at. Excellent condition. You know, a few minor stone chips that we've touched up, but you know, the car's, it's got just over 200,000 kilometers on it, so you know, this has definitely been looked after. You know, they've upgraded headlights too, from the halogen bulbs to, it looks like, an LED bulb for better nighttime visibility, and of course we have the daytime running light as well. Nice Michelin tires, you know, Michelin Latitude, 2 HPs, and lots of tread on those. And that's a good indicator of what kind of tires people are putting on cars. If they're putting the cheapest sort of offshore, no-name tires, or are they going up for a really expensive tire like a Michelin, it tells you they haven't cut corners with other maintenance and repairs along the way. Obviously, it's again black. We've got all the sort of additional moldings over the wheels, the splash guards, the lower rocker protection. See, that goes down and protects the lower door. There's an inner seal on the inside, then it wraps all the way down underneath with a big rubber seal, plastic covering over the rocker panel. And all these little attention to details really do help in the long run for rust prevention. Inside, kind of difficult to see, but brand new brakes, front and rear. So all the discs, these are 4-wheel disc brake system with anti-lock braking, and those are all brand new, all changed. Again, equally good Michelin tires on the back, so match set. Around to the rear. Again, this is the LE model, rear wiper washer. And this has what they call an upgrade package on it, which includes, amongst other things, the raised roof rails, painted silver. Got the little shark fin antenna up top. Also in that premium or upgrade package is a 6-speaker audio system. So rather than just door speakers, we also get the additional front speakers on the front upper dash, left and right. So again, just better overall audio quality. The mirrors themselves have an integrated, what they call blind spot mirror, where it gives you the separate parabolic mirror that you can adjust to give you that extra coverage to cover the blind spot. The mirrors themselves are what they call a breakaway design. Like, if they get bumped in either direction, they just flip and fold. They won't do any damage. And then you've got an integrated LED signal lamp that works for both signals as well as 4-way flashes to warn other drivers of your intent. And then you've got nice big sort of map pockets, you know, with sort of tall bottle storage, you know, for water bottles when traveling. Of course, your power windows with an auto down on the driver's side, power door locks. Window lockout. Now this cancels all 3 of the other windows so that only the driver can open and close them. So helpful if you have little kids, especially in the back seat, where they might be playing with the power windows. But so that's a nice feature. So heated seats also included with the upgrade package, and that's done with these switches right here up on the dash. We have a height adjuster on the seat, so you can lift that seat up and down. Of course, you've got reclining and integrated dual stage airbags within the seats, and Toyota's always had a sort of a dual stage airbag, or at least in the last 20 years, in the front, but having them in the side. And the whole idea behind a dual stage airbag is they'll deploy at 2 different levels, so it's all designed to give you the appropriate amount of airbag support and cushioning without giving you too much, so all designed for safety. You've got power mirrors, your dimmer switch, tilt and telescopic steering wheel. Down below here we've got our hood release. Of course, a footrest on the left, sort of all-weather Toyota mats. Down below here we've got a fuel door, you know, sort of cap release, and that's over on the driver's side rear corner. Now, so it's locked when it's inside, so it helps prevent fuel theft. But important to note, just takes regular unleaded, no mid-grade or premium required. So that's the least expensive grade of gas, which these days is certainly an important factor. We've got, again, as mentioned up front, just over 200, so 209, 358. Now, one thing we do is we pre-certify every car, so there's no hidden fees. Our price includes the safety inspection. There's no extra costs. A lot of dealers now, we're advertising one price, and then there's a finance credit. If you finance, we're gonna or I should say, if we're not financing, we're going to charge you $1,000. I've seen as high as $2,500 more. But often what they're doing is they're upselling it to a much higher interest rate. So don't fall for that. Again, we'll get you the best rate available based on the age and model of the vehicle you choose, as well as no extra fees if you choose not to finance it. So headlights, of course, are over here. This does have retained power. So after you shut off the car, again, the power is retained for 60 seconds until you open the door. Now, one thing they've done is they've upgraded the full infotainment system a previous owner has. So that's not the original Toyota head. So the volume controls and whatnot don't work from here. It's all on here. But this is a real nice unit. This has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. I've got my phone hooked up right now. We'll get into that a bit in a moment. But of course, the camera is all in the back as well. Big backup camera. You can see the park assist guidelines there as well. Again, going back to the dash here, I should overlook this, but again, you've got temperature gauge, outside temperature, your park, of course. Then you've got dual sort of trip odometers. Okay, and also a fuel economy gauge, so while you're driving you get a real idea of your sort of real-time fuel economy, and an outside temperature gauge as mentioned. Of course, you've also got your typical fuel gauges, speedometer, and tachometer telling you your engine speed over on the left. And now this does have Bluetooth phone and Bluetooth streaming. They've sort of accommodated that. You see a little microphone poking out of the upper side of the pillar here, but it works well. I've again put my phone onto it, as has my son Cameron, and with both Android and Apple phones, everything works flawlessly with the system and the Bluetooth. Up top here, this is just an extra sort of gauge or a vent, I should say, that gives you extra airflow up to the upper windshield and upper dash. Of course, you have the central vents across the top, sort of a nice little storage shelf here, nice deep glove compartment, and then through here we've got of course things like a 12-volt power socket. In here we have a standard USB as well as auxiliary audio input, heated front windshield. Again, this is part of that LE upgrade package, and so at the very base of the front windshield where the wipers are parked, there are heating elements or de-icing elements. So in the wintertime, if you activate that little switch, within literally a minute or two, if there's ice all built up, it just melts right off. So your wipers aren't all so jammed up with snow and ice. Two-stage heated seats. And then over here we have both an eco mode, a sport mode, and when these are off, you're in a normal mode. So these are three different what they call drive select modes, and they change primarily transmission. Again, in the sport mode, it makes it a little more aggressive. It's going to rev higher between shifts and give you a quicker, snappier shift. The opposite in the eco mode, it's going to be a little lazier. It's going to really eke out the best fuel economy by keeping it in the most fuel economy gauge. So again, a number of controls there. This is obviously cup holders, and there's little areas here to rest phones and other goodies. Now there is as you can see, a USB port poking out down below, and I believe this is also part of the system here, so you can plug extra devices in, or USB sticks, etc., to feed media into your system. Of course, handbrake. The transmission itself is a 6-speed overdrive. You'll see, your park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then what they call a sport mode. So, I put on the brake here. So I drop it into drive. That's going to display as D right up on the dashboard. Flipping it over into the sport mode, you'll see now it's showing S4. And again, as I move this up and down, I can sort of manually shift through the gears with what they call sequential shifting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, up shift, down shift, depending on direction. So it just gives you manual shifting ability within an automatic transmission, which is a really cool feature. In the wintertime, you can do things like engine braking and using the vehicle to slow you down when things are icy. You're not locking up the brakes. Albeit you do have a very sophisticated 4-wheel disc anti-lock braking system that has both electronic brake force distribution, and emergency brake assist. So Toyota have this what they call Smart Stop technology built into all their cars, and that's standard on here. So nice big center console under the armrest with sort of dual. There's an upper level for you know, receipt storage or other bills, and then of course a nice padded armrest on the very top. Day-night rear view mirror. You can see that sort of screening between the visors, so when the visors are flipped down, you've got a little better coverage. Then you also have the extending shade you know, pull-outs on either side, so whether you're trying to shade over and around the visor, you can control that as well. Shoot, I'll just sort of cancel that. Personal call coming in. And then we've got overhead storage for sunglasses, individual sort of spotlights, map lights, overhead lighting. Normally you'll leave that in the sort of the central position, which is going to give you your illuminated entry, so when doors are opened, it's just done, you'll get that sort of soft fade out from there. Both visor mirrors have a little sliding cover that also activate that overhead illumination, so that dual illuminated visor vanity mirrors. And lots of airbags. We talked about the side airbags earlier, you know, in the seats, and the frontal airbags. Now, one thing they have on the passenger seat is what they call a classification system, and it actually deactivates or turns off that frontal airbag when nobody is sitting in here. There's a little lamp sort of illuminating right here saying airbag is off, again because the seat's unoccupied. And it will only turn on once really a passenger sitting in there sort of exceeds about 90 to 95 pounds in weight, you know, sort of assuming it's an adult. So it keeps it turned off if somebody very light is there, certainly children. Again, and the whole idea being is airbags are designed for adults, not for children, and it keeps everybody safe, sort of sticking to that. All your books and manuals are here, as you can see. Carfax history shows no accidents, 12 service records. Again, nice clean car. You'll see originally it was up in sort of the up in Guelph area there, Garson, Ontario. I believe that's just outside of Guelph, but you see lots of service at Richmond Hill Toyota as well. It's had a couple owners since new, a few, I think 3 owners since new, but again, clean history, no accidents reported whatsoever. We have both its keys. There's one in the ignition now, plus the second key here. And these all have integrated entry, as well as a panic or vehicle sort of locator alarm. You know, if you're in a big parking lot after a game and you can't remember where you parked, of course you can activate your horn and lights flashing to help you locate. Moving through to the back seat. Earlier mentioned child-proof windows. It also has child-proof door locks, which is achieved just by flipping that switch down, and that cancels the inside handle. So again, seats can't be, or the door can't be opened using that. Another sort of tall bottle storage, of course, speaker here. Now this is the recline lever as well as fold flat. So before I do that, I'm just going to flip this down and show you how it has a central armrest with sort of cup holders as well. In the back of that center console, you see a 12-volt sort of power socket. Difficult to see based on the lighting, kind of hard to picture it here, but there are vents underneath, there are ducts, and so heat and air conditioning coming through to the back is achieved through that, so it keeps everybody toasty or cool depending on the season. Seat back pockets on both seat backs. So folding the seats again is as simple as flipping the headrest down and then lifting this lever. Difficult to do with one. There we go. Just have to give it a little assistance there. But you see how that folds nice and flat and gives you a flat load area on either side, and it's sort of a 60-40 split. Rear window, I also like to point out that little spoiler over the back. It looks kind of nice as well, it's sporty, but it is functional. This sort of sets up an air current or an eddy in the back that helps reduce sort of moisture and rain from the road lifting up. Of course, you do have a rear wiper washer to augment that. Underneath here is sort of a soft touch release for the tailgate, and there's our little camera as well. Flipping this up, you'll see again a little storage bin down below there. Flip up here, you'll see your spare tire. All your jack and tools are located under there. And then you've got these nice sturdy tie-down hooks on all 4 corners to you know, stabilize loads if you have things floating around in the back that are heavy and loose. There's a handy little handle here for closing the tailgate, so that's Very, very clean. Seldom do you find a car, especially in black, in this kind of condition. Nice crisp tires on it and everything as well. So it all sort of indicates the pride of ownership from previous owners. Underneath here, again, very, very clean. There's no real rust. There's some very minor surface corrosion on bolts and everything, which you're going to find on any car. But when you look under the seams, you can see elements. It looks like some rust proofing leaking through there. It's always wise, especially with an older car like this, to do oil spraying. You do it once a year, like Crown Rust Proofing, Z-Bar to Rust Check. These different companies all work very well, and that certainly keeps the body going. Toyotas have such good reliability. I have seen scores of these over 300, even as high as, I took one in at 570,000 kilometers several years back. And again, if you look after them, they will repay you time and time again, many times over. They'll last. The engine itself, 2.5 liter, 4-cylinder, normally aspirated, so not turbocharged. VVTi sort of on the front cover just indicates the variable valve timing with intelligence. It's a 16-valve double overhead cam engine. Again, good horsepower, like I believe it's 176 horsepower. Again, running on regular gas, so again, very reliable, very smooth, and very economical. It's a Toyota. And this one's at CarSmart in Niagara Falls, 6006 Thorold Stone Road. Phone number here is 905-354-0049. My name is Steve. I thank you for watching.